Welcome back to another episode of Us Anxious Folk. I am here with the lovely Silvia from Portugal, who is someone I have known for a long time on Instagram. But it's nice to finally see you and meet you virtually. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. It was so many years ago, I think 10. I was thinking about that and searching on the Instagram, and I thought that it's been from 10 years. I found your account and from the Ashley from California.
Yes. Yep.
And you know her too.
Yeah.
Um, I remember it was once we anxiety people have many moments that we felt very lonely and incomprehensive. And yes, I was depressing at the time and started searching for words about agoraphobia and anxiety in English because in Portuguese we don't have at the time
Hmm.
because it was like 10 years ago. So nowadays people talk about mental health and it's good, but
Hmm.
at the time, 15 years ago, it was not like that, and we will talk about that. But it like we met, so it was in the Instagram, and I found your videos, and I thought, well, they are saying what I feel.
Yeah.
And it was very good, and Ashley don't know, but she helped me
Mm.
once.
Hmm.
She helped me to go to do a flight. I'm not I'm not finding the many posts of her
Yeah.
lately, but maybe she's good now.
Yeah,
I
I
really hope
I
so.
haven't caught up with her in a while, but I think she inspired me a lot as well in the beginning, and she's a great human.
Yeah, and I saw your videos and your search from the answers that we are always searching for, and
Yeah.
you like to read a lot, and then I want to buy the books in Portugal to read
Yeah.
what you are reading.
So is there more around now in Portugal to
I
read
think
about
so.
mental health?
I think so. But at the time, I asked, I found you from the hashtags.
Hmm.
It was 10 years ago, and I found you from the anxiety from the toilet anxiety that you had.
Yes, I
And
think that's how a lot of people found everyone else on Instagram back then with the hashtags.
yeah, it was from from that. And I remember your videos to going to a wedding. I remember your journey, talking about your journey, talking about the driving.
Mm.
That helped me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It helps when you even if someone isn't saying something necessarily helpful, I think it's just helpful to know that there's someone who feels the same way you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
you are not alone and it's not, you are not crazy.
That's right. Yeah.
Um, and I was like to my mom, see, I found this girl and she's telling everything I feel.
Yeah. It's not just me.
Yes.
So tell
Yeah.
me, tell me your anxiety story.
Oh, my story starts with anxiety started when I was 15 years old. I was very young and that compromised um, my younger times, I think. But I didn't know what I had. I isolated myself a lot. I thought I was sick. I couldn't explain what it was. I like other people. I thought that I was dying or going crazy.
Mm.
You know what it is, and and I and there were places I felt comfortable, but for a young girl, face constant fear is very scary. I felt secure at home,
Mm.
But at the same time, the doctors who examine me say that all organs are good, the blood are good, the blood pressures also, because I felt a lot of this sense of this realization,
Mhm.
and I felt that, oh, I'm going to die, or have it pass by or something.
Mhm.
And no, she's not sick, she's well. And I think they were doctors who were very uninformed at the
Mm.
time. It was terrible time, and my support was my mom, who after some time understood and took me to a psychiatry, because she said, you can live like this, you can hide, you have to go to school, you have to go to school and have a normal time. And I was over medicated. I gained some pounds, but it's okay. Now I'm good. And because it was a psychiatry, not a pedopsychiatry, for the
Mhm.
kids.
Mhm.
So since then, it's been a search for the best solution for my anxiety, with many ups and downs, of course. Currently, I feel that I can share my story finally, and have found fantastic people who gave me the tools to be happy again and to be me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's it's so funny how we can look at other people like on Instagram, because that's the only way I've known you. And just going through your Instagram, I would look at those photos and I would just think, this girl has such a great life, like doesn't deal with any anxiety. Like I'd have no idea. Um,
Yeah, and my friends don't. Well, in my adolescence, I didn't talk about this to anyone,
yeah.
and this is the first time I'm talking about this to some people. So
Mm-hmm.
some people will be, "Oh, she suffered that much."
Mm,
Uh, it didn't seem, yeah, because I hide very well,
mm,
and but I did modeling. I did I did to the university. I did everything that is supposedly the what we have to do. I go into clubs, but to
mm.
clubs at night. When I was 17, but I choose to near the door,
Yeah.
and my friends didn't understood, but like it's right here. Um, but yeah, most of the people don't know, just my closest friends. But I
Mhm,
feel that I'm not. I don't have to hide my story.
mhm,
It's part of where I am, who I am.
mhm.
It's been living with me my half here, my half life. So
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah, it's a
part
big
of me,
part
of
of who you
course.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that must have
and
been really frustrating going to the doctor and when they say like you're fine, the tests are all fine, and you're like, how? How am I fine? Like
yeah.
so did after they ran the tests and they put you on medication, did you notice a change in how you felt?
Sleepy,
Mm,
but I was to the school and I had great notes. So, then, but when I go to the university, I found new best doctors,
mhm,
uh, and that is a search that I want to talk about. That you have to search
mm,
for, and not okay. It gave you this doctor. It appears this doctor. You have to stay with this doctor. No, you don't have to stay with this doctor. If it's not having results, you have to search for another.
mhm,
And that's what I did, and find the good professionals, because it takes a lot of me, but professionals, and for the all, of course, the comprehensive partners that
mm.
we have.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you say finding a different doctor, because I work in a hospital setting and there's kind of like a running joke about people who doctor hop, so they go from one doctor to another.
Oh.
Um, and in my perspective, it's always felt like if you don't find a doctor you like, you do go to find a new one. You don't just stay with someone who doesn't understand, like it's like finding a good hairdresser or like you have to
Yeah,
try different
and
ones.
it's not for me. It was not to understand because I did psychiatry. I do psychiatry too, the maths,
Mm,
and I have I search and I know what it's better,
mm,
but they know what is better. But I did my search, and I don't like to take benzos or something that could be put me on sleep. I'm very active, and and I did my search to do it. And I did other that is therapy that I
mhm,
recommend to everyone,
mhm.
not just anxiety.
Which tell me about the therapies. Which therapies have you tried?
So, as I talk to you, I'm in favor for me for the medication plus therapy
Mhm,
because I had the serotonin imbalance, and therefore I take serotonin reuptake
mhm.
inhibitor. Yeah,
Yep,
you have okay.
yep.
In therapy, I did AMDR.
Yes, with the
Do you know
eyes.
it? Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
loved that
did.
as well.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. Apparently, people always talk about for stress post-traumatic,
Yes. Yep.
post-traumatic stress, yeah,
Yep.
um, or other situation that may affect you. And since I had been dealing with anxiety for so many years, there was situation that I had to re-simulate.
Mhm,
Basically, it's a high movement, and like you said, and I was lucky to find a fantastic psychologist because we have to admit we won't always be lucky, like you said, to find a good professional. But I don't give up, and she does cognitive behavioral therapy,
mhm,
and therapy is super important. I haven't visited her for a while. I'm missing there,
mhm,
missing her, but she told me 2 years ago that I didn't need to go regularly.
mhm.
So, well, I hope not see it again.
Yeah.
But no, but I like her very much, and we are friends on Facebook, and sometimes we talk. Yeah, but it was like this therapist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. For those who are interested in trying that, it's called EMDR therapy, and I will put it in the show notes. But yeah, I
Yeah,
found it really interesting as well. And at the time, I didn't think it was doing anything.
yeah,
But
me too.
you quickly notice that it has kind of rewired things. It's strange, but
It's very
great.
strange because it's not like the other hypnotherapy.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
We are always conscious,
Mm.
um, but it was great.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think we understand fully yet, but I mean, probably the professionals do, but I don't understand it fully, but I just know it worked well, and is pretty, I think pretty easily accessible. I think most psychologists and most psychiatrists have experience in EMDR, which is good. And the one
Oh,
that
but
I did it
here in
with,
Portugal, no, they have to
oh
take
really?
a course, or I don't know, a formation to
Oh
do
right.
it.
Okay. All right. So fact check.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope I have people from Portugal listening, so I'm just telling
Yes,
that.
I'm sure you will represent. Um, so you spoke a bit about your mum. How have you managed your relationships with your anxiety? Obviously, your mum's been a big support for you. But how have you navigated like friendships, romantic relationships while
Hmm.
dealing with anxiety?
Friendships, well, at the beginning, remember to tell, oh no, I can go this time because I'm with the pain, but I wasn't with the pain or
Yeah.
have the ache or something. I was crying because I was fear about going outside because agoraphobia. And now I know what I have. It is generalized anxiety.
Hmm.
But at the time, it was very scary to go outside,
Yeah.
and especially for the summer or something. And then, but now, not now, but recently, I don't know, but 8 years ago, you are talking about the romantic relationships. And I remember I always tried to hide this side of myself, like I told. I thought I was sick, and only my closest family knows about it. And of course, currently, my boyfriend, who has very important part of my improvement. I'm not dependent on him because I felt that sometimes people do it, and I want to clarify that because there so many girls that I see that when it creates these patterns of becoming dependent on someone who helped them at some point, and especially those who have more need anxiety can generate that.
Mm.
And he was my companion and understood, but it wasn't like that always. In my previous relationship, I didn't talk about it because I felt there will be judgment. And I remember when I had to take my daily meds, so I will take it hidden in the bathroom. It
Mm.
was very painful because if I had diabetes, I didn't do that
Yeah.
hide. And
Yeah. Don't
nowadays
have
it's
the
like,
shame.
yeah.
Yeah.
And nowadays it would be unthinkable for me, but I thought I was sick and wrong person.
Mm.
But nowadays I try to talk to as many people as possible to prove that if I was unwell for so many years, I can get through it. Anyone else can do it too.
Hmm.
But yeah, at the times I hide for many years, for many years.
Mm. And so, like culturally, you said there wasn't a lot said, you know, 10, 15 years ago about mental health in Portugal, but in terms of like taking medication for mental illness, was that also not really something spoken about very often? Um,
No. Now people talk about more mental health because the is post-COVID,
yes, yeah.
but still meds they are high. Last weekend I was at the table with the friends, and one of them talked that she takes fluoxetine,
Hmm.
that is a med too. And oh, I take one similar, and other girl, oh, I take one similar too.
Oh,
But
really?
okay, it's not like
Yeah.
oh, and we found that like, and we talk so many times. We are friends, but we hide that
Mm,
because of the judgment.
mm. I think that happens a little bit here as well, to be honest. Like, I don't really
Yeah,
know what a lot of my friends are taking. Maybe my very
yeah.
close friends, but yeah.
It's not a thing that we talk about, but in the past. But now we felt more comfortable.
Mm,
That's because the post-COVID, and
mm,
we have to tell it. But now, very people say, I'm so anxious."
mhm,
No, you are not anxious. Anxious like this, like
mm.
10
Yeah.
years, or like your case. That it's anxiety. Okay, you are a little bit stressed.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
uh,
It's like when people say I'm a little bit OCD and I know
yeah,
those who suffer with OCD are like, you're not. That's
you're
not.
not.
Yeah.
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 You
So,
you don't have anxiety in the shopping. You don't have anxiety to do the grocery.
mm,
We did. We felt like that. I had sometimes I was in the shopping and I had to run to the car and say,
mm,
"Oh, sorry, I can do it." Why? Because it's many people, and I don't know why.
Mm,
And I didn't know why, because I felt comfortable with my body. I felt comfortable with myself. I'm very funny with my with my peers. Um, and yes, I was comfortable with my body, even in the adolescence. I did modeling, um, but I had to hide when I had a spike of anxiety. Yeah,
mm. I think it's just the nature of anxiety is that
yeah.
that urge to hide from a threat. And when the threat is anxiety, it's like, where do you go?
Survival mode, lol.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I like that you mentioned not being, codependent with your partner, because I do think that's something that happens, they
yeah.
become your safe person and then that's a whole other problem. But so I'm interested in um how you manage that relationship not getting that sort of dependency. Like have you had instances where you've panicked when you've been out together? Um
Yeah, of course, but therapy.
mhm,
It's the only answer I have, and it's been very helpful because um, it's my companion to do it. A lot of things that scare me. For example, flying. I never did flying, but I met him, and he was like, "Oh, but I'm used to fly, so oh my God, no." Uh, and I did it very times of per year, and now okay, oh, and now I go to the therapist about because of that.
Yeah, yep. And tell me about the flying, because this is something I definitely wanted to talk about. You said that Ashley helped you to get on a plane, and I know when we spoke ages ago, you were going to the UK.
Yeah, and I saw a video of you flying with Lila.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yes,
and
years ago.
yeah, I saw that video 3, 4 times.
Oh really?
Just to see some things that could be helpful, I remember, I used to, but one day I saw a post of Ashley.
Mhm,
Yeah, it was helpful, your videos, but Ashley too, saying that she's gone on a 2-hour trip. And I thought, if she has the same fears I do and could it, then I could do it too.
mhm,
And then I start looking for a therapist to help me. And I work on everything she told me is the same therapist that I'm being talked about. Uh, and I succeed. Since then, I love travel.
really?
It's funny. It's very funny because now I want to travel more and discover new countries. I didn't travel so many hours like you did. The max it's been 4 hours, but
Mhm.
I
That's a
now
long flight still.
yeah, but now I see that I could because in the last flight I fell asleep. I'm very comfortable now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but now I really like to travel. It's funny because uh, but my tips for that may not work for other people. The essential thing was to understand my fears in certain places, supermarkets with many people, like I said, crowds, hot days, and about you ask about airplanes.
Mhm,
We can apply this on a plane, on a trip, or in more uncomfortable situation. I have a small backpack
mhm,
with something that I know it's my safety kit.
mhm,
So, and for example, on the plane, my biggest fear was pass by or throw up.
mhm,
And she was like, okay, you are gonna see those people again. I'm not, no. So,
mm,
okay, it happens.
mhm,
And the if if this happen,
mhm,
my therapist helped me a lot with that.
mhm. So lots of like really specifying what the fear is and being clear about that, and then following through with, well, if it does happen, what then?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
helped me.
Yeah. Okay. So the first time you get on the plane doors close and you start to take off. Tell me what's
Yeah.
happening.
I remember the first time. Nowadays, like I said, I have my backpack and I'm more comfortable because I know my safe things are there.
Mhm.
But the first time I was, oh my God, now I can not go anywhere. I have to stay inside. But
Mm,
it was a thing that I worked with my therapist. I said, oh, but in the middle, if I want to go out and if I panic and open the door,
mhm.
and she was like, wait, you can open the door like that, nobody gonna die.
Yeah.
Um, and you want to go to the UK, right? So why you wanna to turn over?
Mhm,
And I was like, yeah, it makes sense.
mhm.
So I maintained the focus. I remember it was Christmas and I love Christmas, so I put Christmas music and I was like, Christmas in UK, Christmas in UK.
I love
It's so
that.
weird.
I love that
Uh,
you focus on the goal and what it's going to be like when you're in, somewhere you want to be at your favorite time of year rather than focusing on the panic, the panic, the panic, you know?
yeah, and my boyfriend is like it's aware, but it's like everything's fine.
Mhm,
But I know he's aware,
mhm.
but it is, oh, let me sleep. It's nothing. What we are feeling, you are, let me sleep.
So he's just very calm and like
Hey,
unflappable.
in that situation, when he sees that I'm uncomfortable, he's calm.
Yeah.
Very.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good.
and that it's good.
Mhm.
But you want to talk, you want to me to talk about my safe pack, my
Yeah.
small bag.
Yeah, sure.
It's getting smaller, but it could be helpful for other people.
Mhm.
It's getting smaller because at the beginning I have a lot of things.
Yeah,
Um,
everything.
yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
I had some cookies due to the fear of fainting,
Mhm.
gums, water, of course,
Yep.
a hand cream with a scent that used to calm me.
Mhm.
It's good to have that aromatherapy.
Yep.
It could be helpful. Having my daily meds also, of course, and having headphones because I download the app like Calm.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, the
you
meditation app.
know,
Yep.
yeah. Jay Shetty talked to that app too, and a lot
Oh,
of people,
yes.
and it's very helpful. But what work the most is the what I learned about breathing,
Mm,
because we anxiety folks we don't know how to breathe.
mm.
We breathe here.
Yes.
We have to breathe diaphragmatic. Please Google it.
Yep.
Diaphragmatic breathing,
Yep.
uh, because we have to breathe to the belly.
Mhm.
So not to you have tried it,
Yeah.
of course.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
very
I
helpful.
I actually asked a lot of people in my life recently. I quizzed everyone and I was like, when you breathe, does your chest move or does your stomach move? And all of the people I know who are more anxious said their chest. And everyone who I know that's really calm, they're like, my stomach. And I was like, man, I've been breathing wrong this whole time. Mine is
Yeah,
always my chest and my shoulders move, but my
yeah.
stomach doesn't move.
Yeah, and sometimes we have to this. Do you think, oh, I'm breathing wrongly?
Mm,
And that helped you a lot,
yeah.
and that's it.
I know there's a few people I've spoken to who've said that focusing on you know, if they were to think I'm breathing wrong and then they focus on their breathing, trying to change their breath tends to trigger them more. Um,
Okay.
so I think what I've found helpful is to practice belly breathing just when I'm like at home and not, not
Yeah.
going anywhere, not doing anything, just to get used to like the movement of it.
Yeah, and that because at the beginning we do it. Yeah, I know what you're saying because we felt without air at the
Yeah,
beginning, but
yeah,
it's shortly. Then it goes and it's so good. But try it at home first, yeah, and then they go and they see it's easy. But so I was doing 2 years ago. Was searching for apps, and I was so happy because it's very helpful apps for anxiety. For
mhm,
example, I tried one that was in the doing, for example, grocery.
mhm,
It doing the vibrating
mhm.
to remember breathe.
Oh,
I it was so funny, and I was like, oh, if I had this lately in the past, it
yeah.
was very helpful. Yeah.
It's so funny how we're looking for like something to be wrong with our, like we're getting all these tests done. What's wrong with my blood? What's wrong with my, iron levels? And it's like we're just forgetting to breathe. Like,
Yeah, that is the first thing that we do
yeah.
in life.
Yeah. You'll have to send me the apps and I'll post them in the notes in case
Okay.
anyone's keen on
Yeah,
those. Yeah.
of
So
course.
when you were in the UK, how did you manage anxiety, while traveling around?
Um, because it was my first trip. Uh, it was strange because uh, it was so good. I never saw that country, and I was felt like okay, and I think it was, oh, this is too good to be real. I'm not feeling anxious. Oh, this is too good to be real. You know that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm when you have that, we are like, oh, what happened? What is happening here?
Mm,
Um, Something's wrong
yeah.
because we are used to
Something's wrong
feel
because nothing's wrong.
absolutely.
Mm,
And it was very good.
hmm
And
So it's
it
that's
was
what's driven you forward, like having that feeling then made you encouraged to keep going towards that.
cheap. Yeah. Yeah. But I do it always for countries where it's cold. It's
Yes.
funny
Yes. Tell
because
me about the
I
heat.
yeah, the heat. The heat. Ashley talked about the heat, and I was like, yeah, I'm not the only one with the heat problem. And my therapist told me about the amygdala that we
Mhm.
had here that could be trigger about the heat, but they don't have specific articles about that.
Yeah.
It's not proven.
Yeah.
So heat still affects me. I'm going to tell you. I think it's the only thing that makes me scared. And it's not well solved. It's 100% is no. And also driving in the highways and overtaking trucks because I had a scare, so
Mhm.
it could be.
Mhm.
But regarding the heat, I've been able to overcome it. I noticed that if I don't give importance to the fear, it disappears.
Mhm.
Like we read so many times and don't comprehend that.
Mm.
And actually, when it's we are hot, other people are hot too. They are feeling the heat.
Mm.
I'm lucky to live near the beach, so I can go to the sea or on the hottest days. It's a great tip and it calms me a lot. The
Mm.
other day in traffic, the heat gave me a symptom of this realization that
Mm.
for me is the worst.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago. Because when I told that when I tell that I'm good, I'm Anxiety, it's anxiety. It will be for us most of the time. It
Yeah.
doesn't disappear.
Mm.
So we have to accept that anxiety will be a part of us. I just don't let it affect me as I did it before. Before I would go home and be afraid it would come back, and now I ignore it and I know my body better. The doctor
Mhm.
explained me of the amygdala.
Mhm.
Um, okay, I accept it, but I'm not going to cry at home like I did so many and many times.
Mhm. You are such a bubbly, positive, and upbeat person, and I love that about you. You have this, like, just yeah, you just radiate positivity, and I've always kind of felt like the opposite of that, like, I can be quite negative. So it's nice. You make me feel, like, really uplifted. Um, how do you maintain that attitude? Like, when you've gone through hard stuff, like, how do you keep that outlook that, "I'm not gonna cry about this. I'm okay."
Yeah. Yeah, but it's recently episode that happened to me. It was recently,
Mm,
and now I am stronger. I know that I'm stronger than I was, and I was 15 years. I'm sorry for what she was felt. You
mm,
know.
mm,
I'm really sorry, but honestly, I don't even know because I have been through difficult situation and extreme anxiety. I don't wish on anyone, but I never lost hope. Once I have looked for places to be, once I've looked for places to be hospitalized,
mm.
when I threw, was I going crazy? Because I thought, okay, I'm crazy. I go there. I passed 1 month. It will be okay. It will pass. I make it, it's very pragmatic.
Yeah.
I make an effort to listen music in the morning if I feel that I'm down.
Yeah.
Oh, let's put a music and go. And I know, I don't know. Um, and even I overcome so many things that even my own family, not my mom, my family, just other members, didn't believe me. I will succeed to do it this problem of mine. And today I feel like saying, "Hey, look at me, so I know." Look, so I know I will be always be my best motivator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I cry a lot. It was very nights with panic. It's
Mm.
very scary thing.
Yeah, it is.
I want to know um, that.
Mm, mm. You sent me a picture in our chat history that was an old lady looking in the mirror, and in the reflection she sees her child self, and she says something. I think you translated it, but it was something like I'm sorry for all the things I like held back from out of fear, or something to that tune. Um
Yeah.
and I just kind of thought of that when you were speaking, saying like, I'm sad for everything I went through, but like there's so much life to be lived, you know?
That picture makes me realize that you can't live by fear. You have, because when you are going older, you have to live. You are going to see the life you wanted and you didn't achieve because the fear.
Mm,
You have to be stronger. It's not easier. So I want to note it wasn't always beautiful journey.
mm,
There were many days of struggle, nights of fear, nights of crying, trembling without knowing why, not living a normal adolescence, because suddenly it seems like I couldn't breathe or I'm going to die. I will admit, but I thought about giving up. I will, yeah. I
mm,
once or twice I thought about giving up in life,
mm,
but I'm always positive and knew that one day it would be possible. So I want to say, uh, people, change doctors, look for solutions, but don't give up, because afterwards this life is fantastic.
Mm,
And I saw yesterday on the TV here in Portugal a guy that had 22 years, and he killed himself because he was not able to be in the crowded, and he was incomprehensive with his family.
mhm, mhm,
It is a very sad story, because it could be me, it could be you,
mhm,
because we have to admit it. We
mm,
we think about that.
mm,
We talk about that sometimes
mm.
in the past, right?
Yeah.
So, but keep the search for meds. Keep the search for doctors that could help you.
Mm, yeah. It's a hard thing to talk about. And actually, it's a hard thing to think about. Like, I know we're just looking at each other on a screen here, but thinking about you having those thoughts, like that breaks my heart because I'm so happy you're here and I'm like, the things you speak about are so valuable and I can't stand the idea of that, like you not being here, and
Yeah, me
oh,
too.
it's so important. Like, it's so important to keep trying to get help and to like put the music on in the morning, like do what you need to do to get yourself feeling like you can cope today. Because yeah, you need to stick around.
Yeah, and I so many times I did I see your movies, and I thought, like, why her? She has beautiful girls, and
Yeah.
why? But
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. I know it's weird. It doesn't discriminate, does it? This happens to anyone.
Yeah, and for example, my mom had oncologic period with a disease.
Hmm.
And okay, she had, it was very scary. She did the treatment. She's okay. I was with anxiety. I still was,
Mm.
it was, it's different.
Mm.
Uh, it's not like a thing that you can do a treatment and pass, and no, we
Yeah.
have to do it and cope.
Yeah. You can't do tests and say, "Oh yeah, there's none of anxiety left, like you're all clear."
No, yeah, you are clean.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Business, I struggle with mental health, and it's very difficult because in the workplace you have to be that person that do everything right, but sometimes you are struggling with mental health and you don't want to your co-workers know,
Mm.
or you have to make that poster.
Mhm.
And but I know, because I talk with many people and they are struggling, and in this world that sometimes we are always achieve the best, and it's very competitive. This could be hard, and I will share in my professional account
Mhm.
to some people, if could be possible, positive to them.
That is huge.
You think?
Yeah, I really admire that. Because you're right, in the professional world, it's like there's my authentic human self who feels things, and then there's my professional self who gets things done. And the fact that you're willing to be vulnerable and merge those is a really big thing, and I respect that a lot.
Yeah, but I know that sometimes I know so many people that takes meds and hide,
Mm,
like I did. Like I told in this episode, and that I want to share. It's normal. So I want. I could talk about this at the beginning.
mhm.
Sorry,
No,
but
it's all good.
yeah, I thought about that, and I want to share the most, and being a part of someone who could help someone.
So you forgot to put changing the world on your goal list because obviously that's
You
obviously
think?
that's one of your goals. Yeah. I love it.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being with us, Sylvia. I'm so stoked to have been able to chat with you and learn more about you. So I will link everything we've spoken about in the show notes. And yeah, thank you for being a guest.
Oh, thank you for helping me with your videos 10 years ago,
Yeah,
okay?
pleasure. Thank you for listening to the Us Anxious Folk podcast, the podcast for the chronically overwhelmed, perpetually panicked, anxious folk in all of us. If you would like to find more about me, you can find me on YouTube at Lauren Rose or on Instagram at Lauren R_Rose.